Thornton. Margaret is currently palliative. She has agreed to share her cancer journey with us. Margaret lives in supported housing. At the start of her journey, she was not flagged in primary or secondary care as having a learning disability. This is Margaret's story.
I've been a few times for mammograms, but nothing showing up on the other ones, but this one it did. And I felt no pain or anything. I had no pain, no nothing. It was just a routine mammogram, and so come home, just thought nothing about it. Okay. Got a letter to say to go and see Dr. Milligan at Gateshead, Queen Elizabeth. And they said that they found something on my breast, so they done a biopsy, stayed overnight, and that was it for that part anyway. I had nobody to help us, nobody to support us. I went everywhere, everywhere myself. Well, they said I had cancer in the breast. I went for radiotherapy in Newcastle, and I went there again by myself, which was hard for me. I went for a long time to the radiotherapy in Newcastle. You're sitting there, you're talking to nobody, you don't know who's going to be who. And mind, they all were good at the radiotherapy place. They were really good, I must admit. And I needed somebody to support us, but they didn't. Even when I got back home and told them that I had cancer, but never mind.
Following Margaret's treatment for breast cancer, she was concerned about her health.
I went to my doctors for 8 weeks, took no notice of us, right? For 8 weeks, took no notice, fobbed us up with medication, said nothing wrong with us. Same again with my breast. They said there was nothing wrong with my breast either. And I says, look, I want something done, because I was in pain all the time. I want something done about it. So eventually, well, they did. So I got a letter to say to go through and get a bone scan done. And that wasn't very nice. So when I got that done, waiting for the results, I got the results to say I had cancer on my bones. Had like little white spots all over my bones. Again, I went for chemo myself at the Sunderland Royal. I went there all the time, and like you say, you're sitting there and you don't know nobody. And I went for a long time for chemotherapy, but it was very hard. I know I lost all my hair, like, but it's come back all wavy. It has, I'm getting sick of it. Never mind, I lost my hair, but I've never ever been sick with chemo. Never. Well, some people are sick with it, well, I wasn't. But I was tired, that's all really, just going to bed all the time. Can't be bothered with anything, because I go for CT scans and all that. I went there myself for CT scans as well before this team come, right? I went everywhere myself, got no help from nobody at all. Well, a couple of months after that, I went for another CT scan, and they said I had it on my spine. 3 times I've got it. I can't be greedy, can I? I'm not greedy, I can't. I'm not like everybody else, but never mind. If people were listening to us, none of this would have happened. I wanted people to listen to us, to all the problems was going on. No, even doctors, hospitals weren't listening. When I was took bad, if I had, because I had pains in my chest with the chemo, and I was up there, was there for 3 hours. Nobody went to the hospital with you either. And you're up there for 3 hours before you decide to see you. I can't get confused with saying things to people if it's not written down. It's like when I telephone, I get confused on telephones, and, you know, and so I ask somebody to write it down for us.
Margaret has now been referred to St Benedict's Hospice. When Margaret met her palliative consultant, they decided to refer Margaret to the Community Learning Disability team. Margaret tells us what a difference this has made to her life.
I love it. I won't, I can't change it for anything. I just want to stop because I've got nowhere else to go. And these are the only people who are supporting this, because they are very supportive. You know, they help us as much as they can, like do to one talk, and, you know. But like I say, they're marvellous. I wouldn't change anybody for anything. At least I'm getting support now where I wasn't getting it before. Take us to all my appointments where I used to go myself. I mean, marvellous. I wouldn't swap anybody. Because they've all been so wonderful.
So my name's Shalene Mercer. I am a community nurse with the community treatment team in the Learning Disability Service. So one of my roles as Margaret's community nurse is as care coordinator, and I organise regular MDT meetings, which are multidisciplinary team meetings, and these take place regularly and involve all of the professionals who are currently involved with Margaret's care. These are palliative meetings, and we discuss Margaret's current condition and how she's presenting, and discuss any appropriate input which is required at that time. So I first met Margaret back in February of this year, and I met her here at the hospice, and it's kind of a consultation, so it's our team's way of gathering information about the patient. And the referral came from Dr. Ellie Bond, the palliative consultant, and it was actually off the back of a letter which Margaret had written, and this letter was very emotive, and in it Margaret explained that she was very low, she was very down, she was very depressed. She wanted help, and she was crying for help and for somebody to be able
To listen to
her, talk to about her diagnosis of cancer, and also to support her at appointments. And it was very touching. So we quickly became involved, and there's myself, there's another community nurse also, and there's also two support workers, Kathy and Patsy,
and Tracy.
And Tracy, she's the other nurse.
And Lindsay.
And Lindsay, she's my manager. And we put together a plan with how best to support Margaret. We support you to all your appointments now, don't we? You don't have to rely on ambulances or taxis.
No.
You've got somebody there who can listen as well to what's being said, and then afterwards we talk to Margaret. If Margaret has any questions or anything, we talk, and we reassure a lot if you have any worries or fears about what you've been told. We also help Margaret's emotional health and well-being also. So we will take you for coffee and things, don't we? And we have little chats, and she, you know, if she's ever concerned, she knows we're just a phone call away. And we're trying to achieve your bucket list, aren't we, at the moment? And Margaret has been a detective for the day, and we are going to be going in a hot air balloon, because that was another thing that you want to tick off.
What to think of her next mission?
Make it an easy one next time.
Flying out in the
Easy.
aeroplane.
And it's just, we've just built a really, really good relationship, a really positive relationship. Margaret trusts us. She knows that we'll be there if she needs us, that we'll do anything that we can to support her.
The palliative pathway for a person with a learning disability supports them to live their best life. It takes a holistic approach considering both physical and emotional needs. The multidisciplinary team meetings link all the services together through a care coordinator. The community learning disability team support the person, their families and carers to understand the diagnosis, treatment and what will happen in the future. If you feel a person at any point on their cancer pathway would benefit from input by the community learning disability team, contact your local team for a discussion.
Audio Clicks.